Howard Aysen. It would be like you'd put I-Z-A-N. Now some of the same family that when we went to the convent in Naperville, the nun said that we were spelling it wrong, that we had to add another N and E at the end of it. And I went home with that and I told my daddy that. He said, you go back and tell them nuns, my name is A-Y-S-E-N. They can do with the rest what they want, but that's my name. And one of the brothers that was close to him, they used to work together, he kept his name the same way too. But all the rest in the family, we're all the same family, but they spell it A-Y-S-E-N-N-E. Make it longer. Why the nuns wanted to do that, I don't know. That was none of their business. We was baptized already. Well, my birthday was on 2/14/28, and I was born down the bayou between Naperville and Napoleonville. And we stayed there quite a while till I was about maybe 6 years old. Then my father started renting some land down the bayou over here to Thibodeau, where we stayed there I don't know how many years. I was in, I don't remember how old I was when we moved from there. We moved back right next to where I was born. Daddy bought a piece of property there. Well, we moved back there. That's where we stayed there for quite a few years and moved back to the same place later. My father was named Estival Aysen, E-S-T-I-V-A-L. They was born what they call back a shoe pick. And that's where he was born, and my mother was born close to Napoleonville over there, where my grandpa stayed. My mother was Georgette Thibodeau. I don't know how to spell Georgette. And my brother was Robert Aysen, and one of my sisters was Eileen Aysen, and the other one was Jessie Aysen. Now the little house we moved, we stayed up here like I was telling you about a while ago the first time. That's where Eileen was born, in that little house. And then we moved over there later on, I guess we stayed there long enough. And that's where Jesse was born, in the big house up here. My dad was a sugarcane farmer. Sugarcane farmer and truck farmer. I remember when he was a truck farmer on this place over here, when he stayed here, he used to go plant sweet potatoes in the field. And to get water, he used to dig a ditch, a hole in it, a little drainage ditch. He'd dig a deep hole, the water would come up. And he'd use that water to water his sweet potatoes. And we was watering the sweet potatoes one night. He had a bull eye on. And the game warden hollered at him. He said, come over here. And my daddy hollered back at him, if you want to see me, you come over here. And he did come, and he was surprised to see that. He thought my daddy was bull-eyed, because my daddy did that, but he never did catch him doing that. My daddy used to go and hunt rabbit at night. I went with him one night. I don't know how many rabbits we killed. And he used to sell vegetables. He had a little truck. He used to sell vegetables in Thibodeau. And he'd put those rabbits under his seat. And he had some customers, that's when they wanted a rabbit. He did that, some of that. Oh, Lord, I got a lot of memories, but I don't know if they're all good memories. I remember when I used to work in the field, it was so cold. We had to break ice in the morning in a mule trough to put water in the tractors, because we didn't know no such thing as antifreeze. And we had to crank off the tractor while it was cold. It was easy to start them. Put a piece of cardboard in the front of the radiator and then pour the water in there. Then when it got hot enough, you'd pull the cardboard off. But there's no such thing as antifreeze. We did some of that. Now before that, before the tractors, some of them we still had tractors at that time, but when we had mules, I had to hook up mules and bring them in the field and hook them up to the loader that used to load cane. I did that. I'd even plowed in the field off born cane when the cane was coming out with a plow, one side of the road at a time, and you go up and down, up and down, up. I had a pair of young mules, they had to walk. They wasn't slow for me. Phew. I don't know too much what we did for fun. I remember doing too much fun.
Hunting, fishing. What about when y'all went crawfishing?
When my two kids were small, they had a big canal back of the plantation. I went fishing. We went fishing, crawfish. Me and my wife and the two kids. She said, "Let's take them out, do something." So we went back there. I told her, I said, "I saw some crawfish, but I said, don't believe you got too many." So we fished I don't know how many hours and caught about 35, 36 crawfish, no more than that. Came home and made the best crawfish stew you could find. She made a stew with that and put a couple of boiled eggs in there. Caught on, we ate like a king. The grocery man would pass like in a bus. You could buy right out the bus, buy most of your groceries. And the butcher would pass in his car and blow the horn. And you had to hurry up and buy it and go put it on ice. Because that's all we had. We didn't have no ice. We had ice box, but it was ice that kept it cold. The ice man used to come and bring you ice. But the meat, we didn't buy too much meat. No, that was for Daddy, the meat. We got the smell of it. So we had to walk about a mile so the bus could pick us up to bring us to the convent. It was good enough, I guess. I went up to the 9th grade, 9th, 10th grade. I went to school over here when I was small, and then I guess I was in 3rd grade when I went to LT school across the bar over there. And I stayed there till I graduated, till I got out of school. The nuns at the convent was my teachers, but sometime I was trying to teach them. The class, they had a couple of fellas in the back of the class was always mumbling and talking, and she didn't like that. And I was in the front just sitting down, man. I was an angel. She said, "Howard, you gonna go back there and sit with them and quiet them down?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." I went back there. Within a couple of weeks, she threw a clock at us. I'm telling you, a little bitty clock she had on the desk, she threw it at me and him, me and that fella. Good friends. Well, in those days, we had hard winters, and we don't have nothing. And they talk about global warming, and they say, no, that ain't true. I say no myself, but that ain't true. They do have global warming. It's not near. You have no idea how cold it was for us to get up in the morning, get those mules, and fix those tractors with that water before you could go out in the field, and then you'd freeze, that ice would freeze your face. And then after we was farming for ourselves, I was even loading cane one time on my loader, and I wouldn't quit because the laborers wouldn't quit. The sleet was hitting me in my face, actual sleet. And then when it got 12 o'clock, I just quit. But that's the kind of winters we had. And you had to have that crop in at a certain time. You couldn't stop. And nowadays it's so easy. They're riding in an air-conditioned cab tractor, and when they get out, do you know they complain? Because they're tired. Well, I could knock the hell out of them when they tell that. You know. To know what I went through and to see how good they got it now. I can remember when Daddy, when he was staying on that place, when he got the whole place, and they had about a half a mile down the road to the back, they had some quarters that bunch of houses. People used to stay there. And he had a truck one time, and hell, I was full. He said, "Get in that truck, bring that truck to the front." I said, "Who, me?" "Yeah." He said, "You can drive it, huh?" I said, "Yeah, I can drive it." I told him I could drive it. Put that thing in first gear and went all the way to the front in first gear. And on that same road, we didn't walk with this on, with barefooted, on gravel. We could walk on them gravel or run on them gravel like I got with shoes on. Didn't bother me at all. I did all of that when I was small. When we moved there, they didn't have no electricity. We used to do our homework with a light, you know, and sit at the table. And then we decided, Daddy decided he was going to put electricity in the house. So it took them a while to put it all on. And one night when they finished, I don't know what time it was, they said, "Okay, put the light on." 40-watt bulb, but when they lit that light, like the sky lit up just like this. That's how much we could see. Couldn't get over the, I think the light bulb got weak indoors, because that sucker 40-watt bulb put some light out. It looked like that to me anyhow. But that was something. That was like a miracle we had happen to us.
What was it like the first time you were able to watch TV? And I know it was
Well, the
black
first
and white.
TV we had when Papa moved back to White, the big house there, by the railroad there. That was fun watching that, because we'd laugh like hell. No, my Uncle Bell used to come from Hammerley over there and come over there and visit on Saturday night. And he didn't know when to leave. He stayed out till midnight before they could. Then they decided they would take it off. It's time to go to bed. But he'd come down and kill himself laughing. You know how loud he used to laugh? We laughed at him.
Now that's Taunt Luzian's husband.
Yeah. Yep. That was the first TV we had.
And then
That TV there, they had a program on Channel 24, do surgery. I saw the same surgery I had that I didn't know I was looking at. I don't think I had the surgery at the time. They go in here, they cut you open, and go through the main artery and come back over here and come out here. I had that. I couldn't walk. This hip here, I couldn't walk. Would hurt me so much. And that doctor said it was a blood circulation. And that's what he did to me. I went to Austin, they put me on that damn table, put some dye in my back, and he tilted up and down like that. Go to all of my feet, then go all of my head. He did that I don't know how many times, and he stopped. And then when he stopped, he left it. It went to my feet. And then my head was hurting. He went, "I gotta go see about the x-ray if they developed." Well, it wasn't too long before I started screaming at him. If finally came to see, he said, "I'm sorry, I was supposed to put you down to the feet a little bit." But I saw that surgery when I looked at that when they did me that, I said, that's, and I took it off, and I didn't like to see that when I saw it. They used, you know, this big knitting needle that they got? That's how they passed everything through here with that. One on each side. And that's it, they closed it up.
tell me the stories of how y'all would go, y'all would make y'all own beer, and when you lived in the big house on White Plantation, you had your beer.
Yeah, we used to push.
You know how y'all were the beer guys, and y'all would go and drive the trucks, and everybody was like,
Yeah.
"Woo, they coming in
Yeah.
for the beer."
We'd make our own beer. We'd go out and have a good time, but we knew when we get back sometime 2 o'clock in the morning, when they get ready, you got to bottle it up. You can't wait. But we always had beer, and on good weekend where they had parties, we used to go back up Pier Park back there. We'd load up the ice chest in the back of the car, And when they see us drive up there, everybody would follow my car. Because they think it was such some good beer. The only thing with the home brew, I've never learned how to do it otherwise. The malt would stay at the bottom. You have to take it and shake it up when you're drinking your beer. But it was good. Very good. We did that for a long time. I met Hazel, my first wife, in Pankerville at a dance on a Sunday afternoon. And we was all down and we was all loaded. And I went dance with her. And when I finished dancing with her, I said, I'm going out with this girl, I'm gonna marry this one. And she was young. And we got married, she was young. But that's why I met her. And I did that with my second wife. I met her back of Bruley Gear over there at the Silverado. Second wife was Jeanette LeBlanc. And I'd gone to Thibodeau to one other place and got a couple of drinks. And I didn't like what we had there. I was coming back home. And then when I got to the Bruley Gear Road, I saw that light. I said, I'm going to see what they got at the Silverado. And that's why I met her. I went dance with her. We were sitting down drinking at my neighbor across the street there, and another cousin of mine was drinking beer. They would come from a ball game they had just refereed and wanted me to have a couple of beers with them. So I said, okay. And Jeanette was sitting on a stool not far. And she had like a jumpsuit, but they had a little opening in the back. And they was after me. Go ahead, go give her a kiss right there. I said, no. They said, well, go dance with her. I said, I'm going to do that after a while. I don't know if I'm going to go dance with her. But I went dance with her, and that was it. That's how I met her. And she walked me to my car that night. And she asked me, it used to have something down Tuesdays and Fridays. She said, you coming back Tuesday? I said, if you coming, I'm coming. And we met up there, and that's how we kept on seeing one another. I had two good wives and lost both of them. Well, you gotta help them. You can't just let them sit down, you sit down, and them do all the work. You gotta help them and do for them. My wife, when she'd come back from work, was in this yard till 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. I had to come get her. But the first thing she'd do when she got back was fix me supper. I had my supper first, then she'd come in the yard. That was her time. I used to fuss her, but that's what she used to like to do. Oh, they had flowers all over around here. It's not like it is now. No. Before I married her, she came over here, look at the yard, you know, she came visit. I saw her, she'd walk along the fence, she'd walk back of the house, and walk along there. She was looking at all the spots she was going to put flowers. She knew what she was going to do before she get here. We had a good life together.
What about when you and Nene got married? Y'all lived. Tell us about how y'all lived in the big house on White Plantation, and you and Nene stayed in the back part of it, and that Mamie taught her how to cook because you.
Yeah, we stayed with them because they didn't have no other house, and that was two big rooms. I mean, some big rooms that nobody was using, so that's why I fixed up one for us to stay in. I don't think we had a stove in there because she'd cook with Mama, but we stayed there a good while till we got our own house.
And then you got a house. Y'all had 2 kids. Talk about that. Talk about
how Howard Jr. was born. Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, he was small. She was getting him dressed to go to church. And boy, he had a nice little pants on, and it was blue, I believe, blue and the white shirt. And she said, don't you dare go anywhere to get dirty, so I'm going to dress up Steve now. Well, when she found him, I had a big cistern on some pillars so we could get water in the house without a pump. Well, he was sitting under the cistern in the dust all over him. She had to redress him. But when they got old, they did what they had to do. I had Howard Jr., I trained him to milk the cows. I used to milk the cows. But then it got to a point where I had to get all my stuff ready to go to work, so I figured he could do that while I didn't have to get up quite as early. And he did a good job milking my cows. But I can't remember if Steve did that. That's what I can't remember. I only remember Howard Jr. milking cows. I think by that time we quit having cows, we got rid of them, and the milkman used to pass to the front of the house. I think that's what happened. That's why Steve never did do it. And then from that, the calves that we raised, we'd have them killed and cut up and put it. We had a frozen lock in Thibodeau. We used to keep the meat over there. I used to raise more than one calf. If I had a cow that had plenty of milk, I'd let that calf suck, and I'd go to the auction and buy another one. So I could have two calves sucking on that cow and growing. I went to the auction one time and I paid 50 cents for one. That's how much I had to pay for it, because they said it had no hope. And I brought it home and I got a baby nipple and I started feeding it. Got strong and stronger, and it became a big calf. But nowadays, you go to buy a little one, the young ones like that, the baby calf, $100, $125. See, in those days, those dairy people didn't want those calves. They didn't want that to suck the milk. They wanted the milk to sell. And they sell them for little or nothing. But the most they were selling about $1.50, but the one I bought, I paid 50 cents. And I got it living, made a big calf out of it. But that's how we got our meat. We got our own hogs. We'd feed that with the corn that we'd raise. Had to raise corn to feed the mule, so the hogs would get their share too. That's what I was saying a while ago about the chicken used to get in there and to grab a chicken and kill it. Well, we'd get in there and chase them and take the chicken away from them. And Mama would clean it and cook it for us. But those was the good old days, say like the fellow. Always did work on the farm. And then when I got older and all, when we were farming for ourselves, I made some of the tools that we use. The wagon, when they started with the wagon, the dump wagons, to dump the cane into a truck, I built 3 of them. And not on a cement floor, no, on wood. I put me 4 blocks. I level off 4 blocks and I'd put the heavy on. That's what start. And I'd put everything together that I could weld flat. That's all I knew how to do, is weld flat. I didn't learn all the other stuff. I weld everything that I could weld, and I'd weld it when everything was flat. Then on 12 o'clock, I'd make my brother turn everything to the side. Then I'd get all of that that I could weld like that. Turn it over to the other side, do the same thing. That's how I got to weld everything on it, and they never broke either.
I formed with my brother Robert.
Yeah, well, I formed with my brother Robert, yes. And then after a few years, the boys was going to school. They was old enough to come in the field. So we'd get them on weekend and holidays. They'd come work in the field and enjoyed it. That's how they got started. And then later on in years, when we'd retired, they took over.
So Howard and Barry took over.
Yeah, Barry and Howard took over. But that lasted quite a few years till Howard got in a bad wreck. He had to retire. He had to get out. And from there, Barry's two sons took over. And that didn't last long. There wasn't no farmers. They retired. They just didn't learn it. They didn't learn the hard way like Howard Jr. and Barry learned from us. They worked long enough. They knew what it was all about and how hard it was. But those two there took over, and they thought it would be easy. I'm going to tell you, they took over. We sold, everything was, Howard Jr. didn't quit till everything was paid for. They had bought some combine and tractors. And he worked with a bad back till everything was paid for. So when the boys took over, they had no high bill or nothing to pay. And that money came in, and it got the best of him. And they thought it was going to keep on coming in like that. But if you don't save it, it ain't going to come in either. And that's why they went out of business. It wasn't in their blood like it's in my blood. I still got to go around in the field, see what they're doing. Don't belong to me, but I'd like to go see. But I like to see some of the work they're doing that them two young boys didn't do that I tell them, but they'd get mad at me if I told them something. But they're not farming anymore. So that's about the end of them. That's about all I can say.
Your life with Miss Jeanette, how y'all love to do Mardi Gras, and one year y'all were king and queen of the crew of Xanadu and Lime.
Yeah, that was the episode there, being king and queen of the Carnival Club. I had fever, and I just wasn't feeling good. But I made it through that. I had a few drinks that kind of fixed me up a little bit. But that was hard to do, but I enjoyed that. A lot of people said I was Grand Marshal before I get on a horse. I said, oh no, it's not me. But it turned out all right. We had fun, and everybody at the fair had fun. I bought a bunch of ice cream for the kids to eat. That's what. And then at each beer stand, I spent so much money there. Let them enjoy themselves. We had fun. Me and Jeanette was king and queen of the carnival in 2000, and had beaucoup fun. She had fun. Oh Lord, Jeanette enjoyed that. I still got the hat and everything up there in the bedroom. I still got all of that. We had a parade and all, yeah. That when I was feeling so bad, when I got on over here on a horse and I rode around. I got halfway down in Laverdeville over there. That's where I got off at. I don't remember if I got off there for a little while. I don't know for what reason, but anyhow, I got back. Then we'd go down a good ways down there and come back on the other side of the church and parade coming this way. They'd be throwing beads and all. But we'd come from across on the other side, Laverdeville over there. Well, they got a fella got a lot of trucks down the road, about about 2 miles. And that's where they'd start at. And it would finish off right here, but we'd come to Laverdeville, go down one street and come back up the other one. And they had people there. We had people all along there. That was something. I tell you what, I can't remember too. I was so sick. I had fever.
This was when you for Carnival though.
Yeah.
Not when you were Grand Marshal.
No, oh no, when I was Grand Marshal, I was a Grand Marshal. go spend $200-300 at one beer stand, got to do the same thing, go to the other beer stand. They all want free beer. So I bought the children some ice cream. I knew they was going to get something. And I guess I gave some of them some rides and all, I don't remember. I sure was a big Saints fan when the Saints started, and at Tulane we started going there. We had season tickets. Even though we were hauling sugarcane, we used to haul enough on weekends so we didn't have to work that Sunday. So I'd let somebody else run the derrick and all, and then we'd go, me and my cousin and his daughter. And we went there to Tulane when the Saints played. We had season tickets. We went there for a few years. I was telling Becky this morning, they got an old lady that was sitting ahead of us. There had a few people we knew. We were all good friends. But this old lady used to always put some artificial eyelashes. And for some reason, one of them got unglued and fell. There she was, and they're supposed to have cleaned that and washed those things. She looked and looked till she got ready to leave. She said, "Oh my God, look at you. I ain't got my eyelashes. I'm gonna have to get me some more." So the following year, for the first game we go back, she was there. Do you know she reached down there and found those eyelashes, and when she comes, she said, "Oh my God, my eyelashes." My cousin that was with me bust out laughing. He couldn't stop laughing anymore. I make him laugh every once in a while. I used to, he poor fella's gone, but I used to make him laugh every once in a while, tell him about my eyelashes. That's all I had to say. It's the way that lady did. She was so excited that she had found those eyelashes a year after, and they're supposed to have cleaned all of that. My favorite moment is when the Saints won the Super Bowl, because I sure didn't think they was going to win it, but they played that dead out. They played their heart out. Oh, I remember the kicker with the short foot kick, the 63-yard field goal, a 60-yard field goal. I remember him. Dempsey, yeah. And then the other one was Anderson, Martin Anderson. I don't know why they got, that's a big mistake they made. They just put him into the Saints Hall of Fame this past week. But he went and he played for the Falcons for a long time too. I think he played longer for the Saints than he did for the Falcons though. But those were some of the good players. They had some of the good receivers that I can't remember. Some of them, they get rid of them for some reason. I don't know why. Me, I think it's money-wise. If they cost too much, they can get another one for cheaper. They get the cheaper one. I think that's what do that, because they get rid of some good players, just like the tight end they had. And they made them stop that. But that was wrong. Hell, he wasn't that, when he was doing it lately, he was throwing the ball over it. He wasn't touching it. And they shouldn't have done that. Look at those in Green Bay over there. They can jump up and get in the stand if they want. Now that shouldn't be either. If they stop him from doing that, I'd have bitched about that. Well, because they were good, they were winning, they had good defense. They were doing something. I don't know if they was doing anything crooked. That was among themselves. They was betting that money, the one that could do the hardest tackle and all to hurt somebody. I don't think they was after hurting them real bad, but they wanted to get them out the way. Well, some of that they shouldn't have done, but they was doing that out of their own pocket. That had nothing to do with the company. They shouldn't have fined the Saints like they did a whole year, just for that. They could have fired him and then that's it, and tell him don't do that again, but not tell him that all what they did him. That was wrong. And the Saints have never been the same since. they can't get right again. So those are the things that I don't like about that.
Tell us the story about Mr. Eddie when he pretended that he won the lottery and you almost had to change your phone number.
We was going to New Orleans. Wait, no, where we was going? Yeah, me, Mr. Eddie, and Mr. Rowland, and we had a whole bus full with some awesome friends, awesome farmers. We were going on a trip. I think we used to go to Florida, and we went somewhere. We went to Washington, D.C., we went to Texas, but I think this time we might have been going to Florida. And somebody had got a ticket, and they won the lottery. So on the way to Thibodeau, we had to go meet the bus in Richland. They had a station not far. My buddy Eddie told me, he said, I'm gonna go buy me a ticket with the same numbers that they got on the winning ticket. And so he went. And when he got back, they had some fellas that was getting excited right now. So he told that fella, he said, look what I got here, He said, why don't you check that number for me? So I ain't got time. I'm talking with Howard and Roland. He said, go check the number and let me know. He came back, he was hollering. He said, Eddie, you got the winning number. Boy, so everybody started getting close to Eddie. He said, Eddie took that ticket in his hand. He said, yeah, now you know. He said, all of y'all are friends with me. Now I can't give all of y'all some money. All this thing is going to do is cause hardship. I'm going to tear it up right there in the front of y'all. Well, boy, that fella pick up every piece and put it in an envelope. He said, Eddie, I'm going to put it back together, bro. You don't want to lose all that money. And it was the fake ticket. It was no more good. It wasn't a good ticket. And when some of them used to come down to the bus to bring their wife or their husband, well, this girl works at the office, at the American Sugar Cane League office, and she heard somebody say that Eddie won the lottery. Well, she came back home and got on the phone, bro. By the time we make our first stop, the phone wouldn't stop ringing. He almost lost his job. Where he worked at Chemco, well, it was Chemco, it's John Deere now. When he was working there, the phone wouldn't stop ringing. It got bad. His wife had to change the phone. Her phone wouldn't stop. Everybody would call her, so she changed the phone number. But then when they had a party, a couple of months after at Chemco, he had him some dollar bills made. Got pinned up. He was all in dollar bills. Boy, everybody laughed at him. But that was a big joke that almost backfired on him. But we laughed. We had fun that trip there.
Yeah.
Man, that fella got on his knees in the bus and looked at every little piece that Eddie had torn and put the envelope. He said, Eddie, don't worry, I'm going to put it back together for you. I'm going to take my time. The little house of yours, some things I can think about. I raised me some quail and a cage, and my dad, when the meat was stuffed, when the butcher would pass, he'd buy a piece of meat, but that piece of meat was to cook. But we just got the juice of it. We didn't get no meat. Daddy ate all the meat. But anyhow, he wanted to kill those quails, and I wouldn't let him. I cried. And then after that, I had a billy goat that was had him tame. I used to play with him all the time. Well, he wanted to kill that goat because he wanted some meat. He was out of meat. I think that's when he started going shooting rabbits. because he wanted his meat all the time. Got to have meat. Want to kill my quails. We probably eventually killed him, I don't remember. But he wanted to kill my quails and kill my billy goat. We had chickens and ducks. Didn't have too many though. When we stayed, the first time we stayed in the little house there, I don't know, we didn't have too many chicken there. We just was starting to raise chicken when we left from there. That's where Elaine cut her nose there, one of the chicken coops. We run right into it, boy. Look at that's all it did. Things is gonna be different a few years from now. It ain't gonna be the same, and all that's gonna change. If they see some of this, they ain't gonna believe all of this. I wish they could have seen some of the things I talked about, like when it was so cold and I go in the field. Things we used to do with the mules. We used to pass when we made corn. When the corn was finished growing, they had the ear corn on it. We had to get on the mule and ride in there with a light cane knife. We used to make us some light cane knife and cut the top off while the mule was walking. And the mule was walking pretty fast. You had to be chopping like that, cut the top off, and don't miss them so the corn can dry. Because we'd break the corn at sometime in August and had to plow that land to put cane in it in September. So you couldn't get no bad weather. That's why we used to work. I did anyhow, not the laborers. We'd let them off. But we had to break a load of corn for each person that was on that. We was three of us. I had a tractor driver and three in the back. We had to break 4 loads of corn for our day's work. And we'd do that for 12 o'clock. We'd start before daylight in the morning. And then that afternoon, I used to go with my dad and help him break that what we just, when he went with the chopper to plow that, I had to go help him. That was me resting. I was resting for tomorrow morning. That's what I was doing. It wasn't easy. Work all the time, work all day long. Always had something to do. We had a 2-row harvester. Cut 2 rows of cane at the time and lay them down. And we take the loader with a loader, pick it up and put it in the wagon and haul it to the derrick. But they would take it out of the derrick with a transloader, so that was easy. That's the easiest way there is to save a crop. The harvester is nothing but some hydraulic chain going right through it. There's hardly nothing to it. Loader and nothing. And that Thompson harvester, when you had harvester, you had to bring it in, cost you $20,000, $30,000 to have it repaired every year. And the combines will get to be the same thing. You got to spend a fortune. Of course, they do a good job. They don't leave hardly nothing in the field. But the 2-row, they watch the varieties that they release. I'm sure they released varieties in those days that used to make good tonnage, but the machine couldn't pick it up, so they didn't release it. But harvesting the crop, a sugarcane crop, is the cheapest way there ever was, a 2-row harvester with the loader. And he can't tell me otherwise, because I know we had both of them. And I see them, you see them after grinding, you see them pass, every day pass with one going to get repaired. Oh, I left, this is a strong house. My uncle built this house for those people. I knew the people that live here. And I got solid walls in the house, all that's a strong house. But my father-in-law in the he wanted me to go in the Napoleonville and stay at his house. So I went. Me and my wife went over there and the boys. And when that thing came along, you talk about some wind blowing and trash flying all over. He had a carport he had built on his house. That was in the middle of the yard when the halftime, when the eye got over us, you could go out just like this. It's like they ain't got nothing. Nothing at all moving. But they got wires down, you gotta watch where you walk. But it's just like this, just like a regular day and that lasts about an hour. To see that be so quiet, all the damage it did, and see that half was coming back again behind you. That was something. That I didn't like that. I'd have preferred being in this house. Yeah, my boys are Howard and Steve, and my grandkids are Jim Michael and Christian.
What about Becky?
I'm here for.
And Beck is the first one. I forgot about her. And then my great grandkids, little Bo, Gigi, Lily, and then I got Andrew and Patrick. Yeah, and my stepson is Kerry LeBlanc, and his wife Annette, and his daughter Bailey, and he's got a little grandson. His name is Carter, and then Carter got a little brother coming. So that's going to be another one in the family.
Say that's Dylan's kids.
Hmm?
Say
That's Dylan's kids, yeah. Carrie and Jody, that's two. Jody's children is named Ashley and Ethan. That's my little grandson. And then granddaughter. I went fishing, that's why I got that boat. Me and Steve went fishing a lot of time and had a good time fishing with that. We really enjoyed that fishing. We went not that long ago and I had fun. I want to make another trip, but I doubt it. My favorite fishing is perch and suckle, and I like to use worm as a bait. That's my best bait. One time we caught them in a canal. I was with another fella. And Steve was with us. Steve happened to be with us. He couldn't get over that. Right in the middle of the canal, we was going slow, and we'd throw back of the boat like that and just reel them in. But I forgot which kind of bait we was using. Might have been using some minnows, I'm not sure. I don't remember. That's so long ago. But that's one time that Steve enjoyed himself. That's why he liked to fish suckle. We had so much fun. You throw it out there. You didn't have to wait. They'd catch it right now. They wasn't deep. They was on top of the water. They wasn't sharp. So we had fun that day there. Lake Verret and Bayou Black is my best spot to go fishing. And the reason I used to like to go to back of Bayou Black, because they had different spots you could go to. I don't think there was no honey hole, but we had certain places that we would go and we would catch fish. But you go there the next time, you didn't catch it. They had a spot back of Bayou Black. It's like across with the main canal going to the back, then they had some canal going crossways. They had a spot there where a canal would meet right here. From here, or I guess from Marchade, a little further in Marchade, they had some trees, some swamp. When you get to that, they'd quit biting. You had to come back and start over here again and go back. And that went on for a week. And they was all mopping up and we couldn't go. We went to Saturday, I believe. Saturday or Sunday, we happened to get a day. So we went right away. And when we got over there, and we got there early, they already had 9 boats. But just like that, we was only 2 of us left. They were all left. Those fish quit biting now. Now another spot I liked, I went already, not often, was in the spillway back of Pierpont. I went with him. One day we caught 94, huh? Or 96. Sakale. Came back over here, got under that tree there, cleaned all of that. And then the following weekend, I went with his father-in-law. His father-in-law wanted to go back, so I went back with him. And boy, we fishing. Oh, that was some honey hole, those. And we kept fishing and fishing. And I told him, I said, time for us to go, man. Yeah, but he said, we got to catch one more. He said, we got 74. He said, we're going to go back with 75. We fished that maybe an hour to catch one fish, and we never caught it. That's funny how the fish just quit biting. You can't make them bite for nothing. That's hard to believe, but that's true. But that was too good spot. If I could find some spot like that, that's where I would go all the time.
When you can get it, you like to cook turtle sausage?
Oh, don't talk about turtle, snapping turtle. Oh, that's something else I didn't tell you about. When I was farming, I ran the excavator. We used to clean all the ditches, and I ran the excavator. I was catching turtle every day, and I'd bring them home and clean them, put that in the freezer. One morning, before I come eat dinner, I got in a ditch, and I don't know why I did like that. I caught one of them by the bridge like that. I took it out, I had a sack. I picked it up and I brought it home. After dinner, I went back and I started on this side of the ditch. And not far, I caught 7 more. I caught a lot of turtle. That's why they ain't got no more turtle in those ditches. I cleaned them out and I made them out. Boy, make hot damn, you make a good sauce piquant with that. Ooh, man, you talk about good eating. God dog it. God, don't talk about squirrel. Ooh. I take squirrel and turtle every day. One day and one the next day. And wouldn't never get enough. Yeah, I did some hunting back a white. When the kids were small, I used to go in the swamp. We didn't bother about the game warden. The game warden never bothered us. I killed 28 one day. Came home and cleaned all of that. But I had the pep in those days. You know, I couldn't do half of that. Right now, I couldn't do none of them. That's funny how things change. But I did all of that, and that was nothing for me to do. I used to like to trawl, and we'd go back aboard the Lord. And every season, we was there the first day, and we'd catch our limit of shrimp. And then sometimes we'd go more than once, yeah. If we had a break that we wasn't doing nothing on the farm, we'd go back. And then the next season come along was the same thing. We'd do the same thing. We always had shrimp. And then when the first trawls that we had, we worked hard to catch the shrimp we caught because they didn't work good. And later on, they had a fellow from Layton right there that was making some trawl. He made one for my cousin, and we went trawling, and they were catching twice the shrimp that we were catching. So when I got back, I threw it on the side, and I went to see the fella. I said, make me one of those trawls. And it was a difference like day and night catching shrimp. If a fella knew what he's doing, that old man that was doing that for me was kind of old. He had a long time he had quit trawling, so he didn't know what he was doing. But this fella, yeah, that was making him. He learned that from an old man from Morgan City, he said. And those things would work. You talk about catch shrimp, you know. We caught them, we had to, after we got that, I had to rig me up 2 pieces that hook on side my boat that go out, and we'd raise the net and hook it on there and had to, we couldn't pick it up out of the water, had to dip them out with a net. But that was fun too, doing things like that. I enjoyed doing those things. Andrew Fonge from town, you know, had a camp, and he had all kind of little bays around close to his house. So we went trawling in there. A 48-quart chest of tails we came back with that 16-foot trawl. But we didn't trawl long, we'd pick it up and throw it back while we was breaking the tail. I named one of my sons Howard Jr. because I wanted him named after me. Steve was born, I don't know. I called Steve after my daddy. They used to call my daddy, his name was Esteval, but they all called him Steve. That was his nickname. So that's why I named Steve after him. That's how Steve got that name. In fact, when I went to bring him to the priest in St. John to baptize him, they put his name Stephen. I said, no, Father. I said, his name is Steve. He said, you can't do that. It got to be Stephen. I said, well, put Stephen if that's what's going to satisfy you. But he never used it. Never used that name like that.
What son worked with you?
Both of them.
In the field?
Both of my two sons, yeah. Yeah, when Howard Jr. was little, he would run, when he was old enough, he ran a tractor. When they were going to school and they came in the field, that's when they started learning about farming, while they were going to school. And on weekends, they would come and work. They used to like that to get on the tractor. That was something special for them. And that's how they got to learn. And Howard Jr. learned everything on the farm just like I did. I don't know if he ever learned how to run a harvester, but he ran the loader and all. We had some dozers, ran a dozer. But that's how they learned. Shrimp together? Yeah, yeah.
Tell me about shrimping with Howard Jr.
Oh, that's some of the things I can't, but I know we went shrimping, me and him together, and he had to pick up that board. That ain't light. But he had to he'd pick it up, he'd manage. Once we got the board in the boat, we was all right. I had all kind of nicknames when I was going to school. When I was over here by my grandpa, all the aunts and uncles used to call me Tot.
Yep.
And when I started going to school to LT, guess what was my nickname? Y'all will never guess. Possum. Why they got that from, I don't know. They got one of them, this poor fella dead, but we used to call him Minu.
Okay.
Like a cat. And then I think that's where I got my possum name from. Call him boy.
Junior boy.
Hmm?
Junior boy. Who you call?
Yeah, sometimes I'd say junior boy, but it's mostly boy. When I'd say boy, he knew who it was. He got that nickname. And for Steve, I always did call him Steve. I don't know no other name I call him. But talking about them two fishing trips there, that was two fishing trips that I enjoyed. But those fellas, his father-in-law and his brother used to go fish. They was always back at Pierpont. They'd go as far as buy a pigeon with their boat. And they go all over. When we went over there, they told me exactly where we was going. If it don't bite in this place, we're gonna go another place and other. They had all that. They knew what it was at. So we got there in that canal that morning. They had a bunch of boats, but we stayed. Everybody had a little area. You know, you wouldn't get in their body's way. And we fished like that till it stopped. And then Carrie knew about the canal on that side. They said, we're going over there. So we went on that side, and we caught a few. They had a tree fell across the canal. We caught a couple of fish there, but then we passed it. They wanted to go a little further, and we passed by a cut, which water was coming out, coming into the canal. I threw down, and we caught a couple of them. They went further. Then he came back. We wasn't catching too many. I said, whoa, whoa, whoa. He said, what you want? I said, turn around, and we're going to park right there. I said, that's the only place we caught fish here. And we anchored there and we started fishing. Fast as you could throw your line, you was catching them. And we come back with 94, 96. He didn't want them. Took them all the next weekend. I go with his father-in-law. He didn't want them with 74. Now I had to clean that. Filleted that. I remember when they was building the levees, because my uncles and all, my two uncles, when we were staying in the little house on White, my grandpa was staying in the big house where he had two sons that wasn't married yet. Yeah, they were staying, and they worked on that levee. My wife Jeanette got close to the people that worked for the priest at the office over there, and the priest was close to her too. Well, every week they had to count money. She never went over there without bringing them some sweet, a cake, or something. They always had, they was looking forward for her to go over there. And after she died, I went over there and they told me that. They said, we thought you was coming and bring us something. We miss her. But that was all the time. She was always liked to give stuff away. Yeah, my wife Hazel used to cook a big old dinner for when we come in. We could eat anything you wanted to eat was on the table, and a lot of it. You didn't have just a little bit. And then you had some sweets to finish it off. Yes.
And then you and Dad, say me and Howard would take a nap, and then y'all have to go back to
Yeah, couldn't take no long nap, no. We had to go back to work. We had to be back. We used to stop work at 11 o'clock. No, we take that back. 11:30. And we had to come in and eat and be back in the field for 1 o'clock. So you didn't have much time to take a nap. But a lot of time, instead of taking a nap, I was laying in my bed with a weight pulling my neck because I had pain in my back. 5 pounds of sugar I used, doctor made me use. And I'd lay there maybe 5, 10 minutes, that's the longest I could stay, and it would help. And whatever it was went away, and I don't use that no more. I don't even have the apparatus. I had a piece that used to fit on the mattress. Bouncing with the track, you didn't have no seat like they got today. The first ones had just iron seat. Then they came out with one with a cushion, wasn't so bad. But that riding on a tractor like that, those old tractors, was rough. Wasn't easy, nothing to do. But it was fun. I used to like to do it. Oh, I can see myself doing it again. Oh, that's something I used to love to do, is work a tractor, work that cane. I remember the year that one of the first years I quit school to work in the field, and we was working, the cane was starting to grow and we was working them. And my dad had told me to go in the front. He said, go in the front over there and put your chopper chopping a little bit. Don't chop it too hard. I said, okay. He said, you can do that? I said, oh yeah, I know how to do it. No, it was a single gang chopper. But one on one side held it up, and on the other side, I had it reversed. It was knocking the road down. I said, oh no. And I got on and I looked at it. I said, no wonder I got it wrong. But I learned all of that on my own. A lot of stuff that he made me do, I learned it on my own. Like when we had he used to run the loader, the cane loader, load the cane. Well, every year they would remodel them and change something on them. So one year they brought one of them back and they parked it in the yard. I didn't even go eat dinner. It was dinner time, but I took my time. I got on that tractor, I cranked it up, and I look at them leaving, and I start working it like I was loading cane. I'd come back like that. And when I went to eat dinner, I told Dad, I'm gonna run the loader this year. And that's how I got started. I run everything on a farm except a drag line. And as a friend of mine was digging a ditch that one time, he said, get in here. I said, man, I can't run this. He said, go ahead, I'm gonna tell you what to do. And I took a couple of buckets out and you know, it went dump it and come back, but I didn't want to fool with that. I didn't care for that. I liked the excavator and the dozer, I like that. I always did like that. To see how hard I work and what I did, how I came up and how I did to raise my family. It wasn't easy. But in the future, where y'all are at now, it's a hell of a lot easier probably, but a little more expensive. And things are going to change. As time goes by, it changes. That's all I can say. I don't know what else to tell y'all, except y'all got to do what it's supposed to. Just follow the law. Don't use a damn gun. You got to learn to do what's right, and you're going to have all kind of friends. Everybody going to like you. But don't do something that's stupid that people don't want to have nothing to do with you. Faut que tu fais ça qui est correct et le monde va t'aimer. Mais si tu fais ça qui est pas bon, ils vont pas te parler. Pas du tout. I forgot. Y'all got to do what's right and be good, and everybody gonna like y'all. That's all I can say. I think it's something like that what I said. Well, it's a funny thing. I always talk French to my mama and talk English to Daddy. Daddy never talk in French to us. Always English. And Mama always talked to us in French. Because when we were staying up here, we were staying close, and when we were staying all together, my daddy was working for my grandpa, for his father-in-law, and we stayed there a few years. I would guess I was 4 or 5 years old when they moved over here. But my grandfather used to raise vegetables, and he had 2 trucks used to go on the road to sell vegetables. And they'd clean vegetables in the evening, get it all ready, and then wash it. And they was always talking, you know. They always talking French. And when I was born, my mama put me in a number 3 tub, sitting down right there. They said I was the best baby they ever seen. I wouldn't say nothing. But they said I should have been a girl, because they used to all laugh at my legs. I had pretty legs, big legs. So they said, you were supposed to be a girl, not a boy. Some is the past, and I guess that's been passed too, is the dope they got going around. They all want to do something different, and they mess with that damn shit. I don't think they know what they're getting into when they start with that. But once they get started, they get hooked. What I can't understand, you know it's doing you wrong and you're going to kill to get to it. It's got to do something to your brain. That's all I can see. Hot damn, a man know that what it did to him, and then he's going to kill that other fella so he can get the same thing again. It's the people they catch that got that they ought to burn them. Put them in a pit and burn them bastard. Make them pay for that.